Hi, this is Dave Scalora with MLS Listings. Recently, we had Jay Ved, our Director of Information Technology, as a guest on our monthly Coffee Talk series to discuss 5 tips to secure and protect your passwords. So here's that portion from that program. Thanks so much for popping in and doing this for us. We just had, last week, was it just last week? I guess it was, Cotality, used to be CoreLogic, had their, an incident. So we went in and had everybody in our system change their passwords. So we figured maybe a good time to maybe have you on here as a director of IT, maybe looking at some password hygiene because we have so many passwords nowadays, and it's great that we have all this new technology, but it comes with kind of that caveat of having more and more passwords and more liability, right, for ways that they can get in here. Jay, maybe some insert some tips, right?
Just a very quick,
Sure.
not technically complicated set of tips to secure yourself in 5 easy steps. I want to say that they're easy, but I'm also an IT guy, so these things are supposed to be easy for me, but I'm trying to make them easy for everyone else too. So
Appreciate it.
yeah, you talked about strong passwords, and so I think that the best tip here is going to be when you're using strong passwords, that length equals strength, and you want your passwords to be easy to remember but hard to guess. So when I say length equals strength, that means the most common password recommendations these days from security agencies and companies is a minimum of 16 characters for your password. Now, that does seem like a lot, but they also believe that special characters like uppercase, lowercase, numbers, symbols aren't as necessary. So the length of your password is the longer your password is, the harder it is for a hacker or a computer program to guess
Okay.
or to brute force. So 16 characters plus. You can use special characters or numbers when it's necessary. If a website is requiring it, then you've got to go ahead and use that. But otherwise, length is definitely the way to go. And if that can be tough to do, then what I would say is to make it easy to remember and hard to guess, you want to use a passphrase. So a passphrase can be, a string of words that you remember pretty much no matter what, like a song lyric, religious verse, an affirmation, book excerpt, maybe even your favorite TV joke or movie quote. Uh,
Mhm.
Something that's 16 characters long. You can use it, but you probably don't want to use something too common like "She loves you." Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that makes 16 characters. Maybe something more modern. You're a pink pony girl. That might work too. But again, a little common, a little easy to guess. Also, password, of course, is 16 characters technically, but a very easy to guess password. So you don't want to use something common like that. And you definitely don't want to use personal information, personally identifying information like family names, your kids' names, pet names, your address, your phone number, things of that nature that are not necessarily common knowledge, but easy enough to find. And so those kind of common passwords can easily get exploited.
Especially Jay nowadays with our social media presence, and we're
Mhm.
out there very easily to
Absolutely.
go on your Facebook page and see
Yeah.
what I'm about, right?
Yeah. What you like, what bands you like, what your favorite movie is or TV show. So I like using, I use, geez, my master password is, I think, more than 20 or 30 characters. And it's a really long song lyric that I remember that I really like. It can
Right.
be, like I said, it can be anything that I just mentioned, but make it nice and long, make it easy to remember because a forgotten password is not a secure password. Then you've got to reset it, and it can just be a pain to deal with.
And Jay, that's such a pain point because I'll tell you how many times I've thought I did the right thing, and I'm like, ampersand and all these funky, and the next day I can't remember that password, and it's just frustrating. And so I started using the phrases, and like same thing, maybe a song lyric, but it's easy because I never will forget it. right? And it's long enough. I don't think anyone's ever going to be able to guess my right. And it just makes it easier knowing that I don't have to go and hit forgot password every day
Mm.
because I changed it yesterday and I wanted to do the right thing, so I made it, but I made it so difficult I'll never be able to remember it, right?
Want to make it so hard that you won't remember it for sure.
Right, right.
Great. So, my third tip, and this is kind of the hardest one, and a lot of you might open your eyes to it, but don't worry, I've got a cheat code for this at the end, is to never reuse your passwords from one site to another. Don't use the same password that you use for your bank account, as you use for your email, as you use
Right.
for your grocery store login or
Your gym,
Amazon, your MLS listings login for
right,
Pro. You don't want to reuse passwords because if one site gets compromised, then those usernames and passwords go up into the internet, into the dark web, and they'll go into a database that hackers will use because now they don't have to try to guess your password. Now they have passwords that are commonly used and specifically a password that you've used before.
right,
So if you don't reuse your passwords from one site to another, then you're protected against that. So that if, like I said, or maybe in my case, my college football forums gotten hacked, and now that password is out there in the world. I don't want that to be used on my bank website or my credit card website because they'll get into my financial information. I don't even want that password to be used on shopping websites or grocery store websites, or you might end up with a whole lot of gift cards that are ordered and delivered to somewhere you never thought of or you didn't know about. So, not reusing your passwords is critical. Don't reuse them across sites. Don't reuse passwords that you've used in the past either, because they might have been compromised. And so I'd like to stop here and just say, you might ask, how often do I need to change a password? Because some sites require you to change them pretty often. We haven't required a change in a long time until last week when we had this security incident with Cotality. But really, you only want to change your password when you have to. If you've been notified of a breach, if a website tells you that they've been breached, I think recently an insurance company got hacked or a hotel website got compromised. If they tell you that the passwords have been compromised, go ahead and change that one. And go ahead, if you have been reusing that password somewhere else, change it in those other places too, just as a best practice. And that's what we think happened with the security incident last week was
mhm,
some commonly known or some passwords that were just out there got the hackers basically just sprayed and prayed with them on every site that they can try to get into, and they were able to be successful in areas that we didn't want or that they shouldn't be able to get into.
gotcha.
So the next tip, my fourth tip here is going to be to enable MFA whenever possible. Now, MFA is one of those IT acronyms that just that doesn't really roll off the tongue, but it means multi-factor authentication. So a password is something that you know, MFA is something that you have. And so a lot of folks, almost everyone, has gotten this set up. They've had to do this maybe for their bank accounts or for their credit cards, especially sensitive logins that you need to get into. I know Facebook really recommends that you use it. Gmail recommends that you use it. So it's basically when you put in your username and password to a website, to make sure that you're actually you, they'll send you a code via email. Some of them call you. Most often, they'll text you a number that you then have to put in at the time that you log in, and then you can get in. Unfortunately, email addresses, email accounts, phone numbers, texts can get compromised, can get intercepted a lot of times, and then your logins can also get compromised that way. And so the best way to enable multi-factor authentication is to use what's called an authenticator app. That it's an application or program that's installed on your phone. You register it with the site that you're using. A lot more and more sites every day are letting you use this. And then the authenticator app randomly generates that 6 digit or 8 digit code that you need when you log in. And that code is only valid for a minute or a certain number of seconds. You use that code to log in, and boom, you're in your website. And it didn't have to be transmitted to you in an insecure way. So it's a more popular way of giving you something that you have and paired with something that you know that's secure, like a strong password, means that your login is at its most secure state. So, little tricky to enable, but once you get used to it, you definitely want to enable it wherever possible. And so, some common authenticator apps, there's a decent number of them out there. Use a trusted one. Google has one, Microsoft has one, I believe Apple has one. Most of the secret sauce or the cheat code that I'm going to recommend have them too. And the cheat code that I have is password managers. So, a password manager is a program that can generate, remember, autofill, and sync all of your passwords for all of your websites. And the way you get into it is by using one really, really strong master password. So there's one password to rule them all, one password to remember. You use that to get in to your password manager, and then you can have it added into Chrome or Edge or your favorite browser. You can have it installed on your phone, and it can autofill. It can remember and even autofill your passwords for all of your sites. So what'll happen is that I'll try to log into a website, like let's say, your 24-hour fitness membership. Uh, when it's time to create it or reset it, it asks you for your new password. Your password manager can generate some random super strong password that's 16 characters long, meets all the requirements that the website wants you to meet, and then it saves it and your login for that site. And now you can use that on any browser that you have the password manager installed on, your tablet, your phone, anywhere, and you can have a different strong password for every one of these sites. And it's very helpful. It's maybe the best way to secure all of your login information, all of your usernames and passwords that you use across sites, so you no longer have to remember them. And there's different password managers. There's free ones that like Google Chrome includes. I believe Apple has one. Microsoft Edge has a free password manager that you can use. And then there's paid ones that have more features, maybe easier to use. They might let you use biometrics like the fingerprint reader or Face ID on your phone or on your laptop to get in, so that you don't always have to type in that big long master password after the first time you've set it up. But password managers are the by far and away the best way to get yourself secure. It'll keep track of your passwords. It'll keep track of your password changes, everything that you might need to keep all those complex passwords in one place and secure. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. I hope that this was helpful. Like I said, length equals strength for your passwords. You want to make them easy to remember, hard to guess. You never want to reuse them. You always want to use multi-factor when possible, ideally the Authenticator app. And then the best way to keep track of all of this put together is to use a password manager so that you can have unique, complex passwords for every one of your sites that you don't even have to remember anymore. You can use them for your family. You can use them for your businesses. They are the most highly recommended way of um, of securing your logins. And I've got a link here that I'm going to paste into the chat. It is the Center for Internet Security's password tips. They have a video that goes through what I just talked about on securing your passwords. And they have a program called Secure Your World that can give you additional security tips, like on how to identify a phishing email or a spam email, uh, how to how to know when to trust a text message or a phone call or email, all of these things that can help secure your information and your business's information.
Jay, one question I have for you would just be, in addition to the passwords, the one major thing I think is how most people get in trouble and that would probably be phishing, right? Um, and do you have anything, maybe just a quick tip on what not to select? Don't click on.
That's a great question, Dave. And it's always harder and harder to figure out what's real and what isn't. And AI doesn't make things any easier. Before you could tell if an email that claimed to be from your bank, uh, whether it was from it or not, because based on maybe misspellings, or it's from a bank that you don't even use anymore, or that you've never used. You might get messages from there, but the best thing to do is to check the sender of an email or a message that you've gotten. Make sure, see if it's from your bank or from the actual sender, or if it's from something like a Gmail account or an Outlook account that's just random and doesn't make any sense. Second, if it has a link to reset your password, don't click on the link if you're not sure about it. Just open up your browser and go to that website. Type it in manually. Type in Bank of America or Chase or whatever website tells you that they need you to reset your password. Go there, log in, and see if you're getting the same message. Because a lot of times, a link that's in a very realistic looking email might go somewhere where you don't expect it to. Might be a link to a malicious site. The malicious site looks exactly like the site that you would normally use to log in. You log in, and now your password's been compromised. So just type it in manually. You don't have to. You don't have to click on the link in the email or a link that's sent to you in text message. Most websites, most login company or most companies won't ask you for your password
Right.
over text, email, or phone. They absolutely will not. They will tell you to go to the site and do it yourself, uh, because because that's the most common way for your account to get compromised. So uh, there's a I think the best tip that I've heard about this is to take 9 seconds, really look at the email or text message that you've gotten. It might claim to be from your broker or from a CEO. I think we've gotten emails that say that they're from a CEO, from our CEO, from Dave, that ask us to send gift
Right.
cards. And we know better because we've learned, but it's easy to fall for these kinds of things. Something might look like it came from your parents or a family member, and then you want to click on that and help them out, and it turns out that it's not actually them. So, verify. Don't trust everything that you see. Verify whether it's secure or not. Take the 9 seconds to look at the email, look at the message, and make sure that it's uh, where it came from, that it came from where it's supposed to have, and that it's not trying to trick you into doing something you're not supposed to do.
Great tips, Jay. Thanks so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us, and we'll see you next time.